getting from this northern shift on the circle. Zol currently getting chased down by Pmgc. Likely going to lock him in position for quite some time here, but Pmgc decides he's just going to send out. Look if he can find himself a weapon. Play from there. Doc's able to find himself a vehicle, but Zol's got to get in quick. In comes the bash on the side, and finally APG gets to disappear.
Yeah, those close range little scraps. That was what we were worried about there. I thought it was going to be DRX, but no. Some danger on the off angle with DX Xavier. Both start with D and have an X in them, so, you know, fair enough that they got confused there. But either way, they will be able to regroup. They're going to be scrabble around Gatka for some goodies.
Yeah, these really can't go too north on this, so they're going to bide their time. For a little bit longer. Yes, Naya is a little bit more packed than I expected it to be, with both GK and E-Arena playing this area of the map. There's been a few games now where Naya has been absolutely empty. I think people are quite quick on the uptake here. R8 playing South George, still currently leading with 43 points, looking fantastic so far. Alpha 7 able to massively make up for the slow start on the day with 36 points now in second place.
And then we saw a little sub card as NC2 is in for Joker out on E-Arena. We'll see if that is a question of well, we'll wonder why that is. We're never entirely sure when we see those cards flash up, but that change has happened. It has come through. So we'll see how NC2 is able to fold into with the rest of the team. On a circle like this as well, it's going to be important to be able to be dynamic and communicative within that team, to be able to go and hold on that side that is going to be so controlled near Yasnaya, is where E-Arena are. So stopping teams rotating around and accessing that northern side freely is a team task. APG broke all the way south, Blank. Alpha are now in Sosnovka, so they did continue on the road.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by it. I mean, I was watching as it happened. It's definitely interesting they would take that approach to head all the way down. Progi, yeah, I mean, 5th place, pretty good so far, 24 points. They are currently in the top 7. They will be moving through the Gauntlet with flying colors if they keep this up. I think that last game looked a little bit better for them. Overall, though, I think that from what I saw, like, the nades were good, the utility was not bad. It's just a case of, I think they understand it as well, and this is where I'm coming from, is that from what we've heard, they understand they need more confidence. It's the first time in quite a while we have seen a team like Orangutan in Pmgc. So for them, I imagine it's a little bit of a daunting experience. You're playing against teams that you have not met in internationals in quite some time. I think for Orangutan, they're certainly giving as good as they can here, but I do think it'll take maybe a couple more games before those engines are fully warmed up.
Yeah, definitely still doing for orangutans, I mean, they're still in 5th place, so 24 points. That'll keep them ticking over nicely. Just need to keep up that pace. We'll see if that development towards that more elim focus is going to keep going well for them. If they can get that one further off the mark than it is. Gike on the northeast side. They have managed to move out of that east side of Yasnaya. That's where they dropped, and they have managed to move over those Stalba foothills and over towards the western side here. Arena making a move across the bridge instead, and Loxy gets clocked. There's no way he's getting away from this one. And Regnum Kaya again on a circle that should be fairly strong from them. I mean, if you think back to PMSL Europe, because we were broadcasting that, you guys maybe weren't watching, but they did like to move nice and early into this area. This was a bread and butter circle for them and a bread and butter set of rotates. They're falling short of the mark, though.
Yeah, just a little bit. It is unfortunate to watch as it unfolds. For Regnum Kaya, though, there has been quite a few times in previous tournaments where they start a little bit cold on these games. and then slowly ramp things up as time goes on. I think they're a team of very, very good at adaptation. I think day 2 is likely where we'll see Regnum Kaya shine a little bit more brightly. They're a team that very, very clearly understands rotates and how things are going wrong. And I think they adapt to different regions very well. I think here, though, there is plenty of teams that are just sending it very quickly. And I think it's something that Regnum Kaya is not quite used to.
Yeah, it's something that they are going to be looking for. I just ran some quick numbers, Blank, about 7th place. And a bit of napkin math tells me that if you're over about 110 points, it's going to be looking a lot better for you in terms of getting into that 7th place. So it's still quite a way to go for the teams, even towards the top. And there's a lot that can change, but doing a lot of work of the 3 days in that first day is always going to be good news. So for the top 3, top 4, maybe even top 5 here, it is a very good start to have in 3 matches already put a very significant dent into that metric, not least of which is, of course, R8, who are on board with a little bit of an underestimated team coming into this one, it seems, certainly with their performance in the first 3. The first 2, I think there was still maybe a question that they were performing strongly, but into this 3rd one that we saw from them before, I think they have started to really turn up the heat.
Yeah, I think for R8, it's certainly one of the cases where, you know, at 43 points right now, they're more than 1/3 of the way there to securing a spot towards the Gauntlet. Again, you got to compensate for those bad games that you inevitably will have, going down in 16 for 0 points, which happens more often than you'd like to admit for particular teams. Even some of our best squads, it happens as well. So I think for R8, if they can end the day around about 60 points, and they've still got 3 more matches to do that in, they'll be very, very happy. And I think that so far they've shown that a lot of their expertise is here on Erangel, but we've yet to see the performance on Miramar, so it could be that they get some great games there too.
Absolutely. It will be very interesting to see how this lobby takes on Miramar a little bit more further apart from one another, generally a little bit longer range engagements on average. Obviously, there will be close range engagements as well, but the distance that sits between you and Miramar generally a little bit longer, so an adjustment needed to be made. The arena, with their substitute coming on in, leaving Mormon out to scout here, maybe will be severed on the rotate by Ulf, but at the moment I think it's just Ketch on that forward position, and I think Irina have spotted it as well. Mormon will definitely know about it, as we love to go to Zaverni, it seems, on these circles. The spray down over towards the arena, going to make that regroup harder, but they're going to do it nonetheless.
I thought Ragnarok was going to hit a couple more there. It's not meant to be, sadly. GS still sitting strong on the northern side of the map, with Regnum Kaya underneath them, like you're saying. Strong central position to play in, but with only 3 players to do it with. This is the 2nd time in a row that Regnum Kaya has suffered from being a man down early on. Yeah, that's more players been lost at the back of that vehicle there, John. DXAV down to 2.
Getting torn apart on the approach. It is very unfortunate. And DXavier not really having the impact that we expected of them. Coming into this tournament, I mean, these are a tournament favorite team, right? DXavier, I personally had them in one of my top 3, I think, coming into this one. I don't think that's an official thing that I've put anywhere. But they definitely were up in towards the top 3, in my estimation. Their record this year has been really fairly solid. I think that in general, coming off of winning the SEA full region as well, their World Cup performance maybe not as illustrious, but generally a really highly performant team for a long time now, Blank. It is a bit disappointing that they haven't managed to find their feet so far, but as I've said before, there is still time to make this day work for them, right? Even on the 2 players here, it's going to be up to Miramar most likely.
Which is where DXavier usually shines anyway, so I wouldn't worry too much. I think for DXavier, they're a team that does very, very well in the central position where they can control area. Like, area denial is like one of their specialities. Right now, though, and I think a lot of teams are feeling this, is that it's very hard to push through these teams. Sidelines are everywhere. Teams are very vigilant. They are on a swivel at the moment too. So if you're trying to push for a central position, it's likely going to get shot at. Like, you can't just recklessly rotate through the circle anymore, like we just saw DXAV try to go. And because Mad Bulls or a team close by will just take shots and likely hit those shots as well. So yeah, I think for DXavier, there needs to be a more patient approach to these Erangels tomorrow.
And maybe that will develop. I think there's a lot of opportunity for all of these teams to be making it through towards the finals, sure. Top 7, of course, will be the easiest way to do it. But there is a little bit of leeway for them, right? They still have those group stages, those last chance stages, potentially, if they're able to get through there. So not getting top 7 here isn't the end of the road. And maybe that's allowing teams to be slightly more flexible with it. Maybe not the best idea, but certainly is definitely possible there. That's a lot of affirmatives in one sentence. Kara on the north side having trouble with Alpha 7, who, again, with their backs to the coast, finding a good fight.
I think it's the second time that Kara has really struggled versus Alpha 7 trying to make their way in. Again, this is kind of the opposite that we're seeing from DXavier, is that Alpha 7's rotates are quite staccato-like, where they'll rotate a little bit forward, they'll stop, they'll see if they can see any presence within the circle, take shots, hit those shots. I don't know if they can do to weaken teams around them is very, very beneficial to them. And slowly but surely, they work their way in towards a strong spot. So I think here on Erangel, Alpha 7's been playing these last 2 games very strongly. I hope that it continues during this match as well, because I've been quite happy with what I've seen since that initial Rondo game, which, although wasn't the best match from Alpha 7 in the world, they still got some good placement points off the back of it. So it's kept them in the running at 37 points in second place.
That's what you need in the running at this stage to get towards those grand finals over in Bangkok, in the main city itself. It'd be lovely to see them there. I mean, for Alpha 7 as well, after coming off the back of Pmgc, right? For Alpha 7, not even qualifying for finals, this is a real necessary redemption for them, right? It is necessary for them to step back up to that level of some of the best teams in the world, because we know that they've got it in them. And we know that there are some real firecracker players in there. Some slight changes to the roster coming on through, obviously. Obscure with Rizal as well. These slightly newer entrants to the team. We'll see what they can pull out the bag here. On the northwest side, they do have a chance, but the circle doesn't help them out here. It's going to push them down to the southeast edge. Gives Geek a pretty solid spot on that hill to the west of them. Going to be highly contested.
I think for Wolves, it's not a bad spot to play down towards the south side on the ridgeline. Your difficulty is that even though you hold this position, you still have to worry about a lot of the high ground off towards your west side. Alpha 7 is an interesting talk you made about them not even qualifying for the PWC. And I think that they're a team that certainly struggles with this, which is if they don't have the hunger for the games, then they don't perform well. I think actually them not qualifying for the finals and PWC was probably one of the better things that happened to them, because it lit the fire underneath them again. I think that they struggled that for a long time, always getting second places. But I think that those second places actually were the things that kept driving them forward a lot of times. So one of the few teams I've been like, oh, they just need a second place and they can do well.
We'll roll up from R8. They've been fairly solid on their games so far. Prestige down, though, and getting flushed leads them into a 3 versus 3, actually, with the trade-off knock coming on through. Another flush over to Regnum Kai. We'll touch on that in a minute. But R8 battling now out in the open against Orangutan, and Ida7 wins out that edge. Will find another knock as well as he steps out into the courtyard, able to find a second player from Orangutan, and they are cut down to 1. Not going to be able to win out this fight. Unfortunately, DRX will pick up the pieces as well, and the nades are good. Everything else comes crumbling down around their ears, and R8 make out like bandits. 4 elims, and they are down to 3, but they've done the work already. 47 points and climbing.
See, I can understand like the mentality from Orangutan is they need more points. They want to get more eliminations. I can respect that as a limit test for the team. but it is a horrible time to be going for that fight. Right, you need to look for that fight much earlier, where the pressure is on as the blue is about to close, when you got a minute out. So you got to pace the fight much. It's much more stressful for R8 where they got to pace the fight because they got to think about their future moves. But moving on to that position as the circle's pulling in creates this horrible situation for both teams, and I think it is one that's made so by Orangutan as opposed to R8 playing that spot. Ulf takes down APG again, which is a bit of a prank. A bit of an APG prank.
Yeah, 16th place for APG. Again, not what we expected coming into this one.
Can't count them out, okay?
They're so done. It's over for them. You never see them again.
Can't. You can't count them out.
I've done it.
They're possibly one of the most annoying teams in the world when it comes to having no points, because equally tomorrow they could have 70.
Oh, Alpha 7 really struggling on the roll-up. They've just been taken down by the Mad Bulls on the approach there. Really not great stuff there. They needed to try and convert on the northwestern side, get a couple more points on board. R8 similarly now suffering, taken down by Malloy from Virtus Pro on that southern edge. Although Malloy doesn't look in the best of shape either, but the top of the table's blank. It's been really quite decimated right now. So a lot of teams with opportunities to jump up towards the top side.
Yeah. But Mad Bulls, I think it's the first time in a while that Mad Bulls hasn't been a bit of a cringe team name to utter. Because usually it's a team that in the past had some of the best players from the CIS region in it, doing fantastically well. They got poached multiple times, leaving only Zerich really is the star power on the squad, and even he started to fall off a little bit without the help from Effect to be his off-angler. But I think that the rebuild from Mad Bull is actually very good. Flip and Lemon work fantastically well in tandem with one another. Lemon has some of the best nades in CIS region. Flip is incredibly good. He's flipping good. And as well as Pusher and Tulika already have a lot of experience with one another anyway. I think they are an aggressive team, to be honest. But I think everyone's on the same page there on that squad. So I think that's fine.
You need to hold it out on the western side. DRX need to move forwards against Ulf and Mad Bulls towards their northern side. Malloy still that thorn in the paw of the DRX Lion. They'll have to handle it. I think he might just deny the point here at this stage. Look at the blue zone taking him down. The heal does pop through, but into stage 5, he does not have long to play this one. Maybe a backstab, maybe a little game changer on a fight. I don't think that Malloy is going to make it into the placements. That should be it. He will fall down. It is just a play zone point denial.
All right, Wolves going to try and make their way through. Thunder Talks as well as Geek playing on either side of the road there. Advantage goes to Geek being closer towards the circle. So Thunder Talks will have to push through them eventually or wrap. Even then, you need to take your shots at.
As we see the south side rotate, DRX, they managed to get rid of Virtus Pro. And they move over towards the Wolves, and a good knock on towards Coops in the backstop position as well. That's not going to be particularly flushable as Thundertalk try and cross the road and Ulf try and cross the road and Thundertalk deny them entry there and get a knock over towards Geek. This fight seems to be a little bit of a stalemate between these two teams, despite the number of nades and Molotovs being sent between the two positions. DRX have taken a lot of damage though. And they're going to have a real tough time rolling up. Doran for the spray down onto Soaz as he breaks on through. That crash line is good, and it's going to be held. Coops goes down 1 for 1. Hyunbin follows. QX set up on the hillside needs to come up big now because he's the last player to stand. The inside getting torn apart. Nobody's alive in the shack. The points are there for the taking, but nobody's ready to do it. A sliver of health on the high ground as well as DRX last hope now, trying to keep things going, but Soulless bombards the position time and time again, stopping the Wolves from flexing out, and then it's going to allow the heal on the high ground.
Damn, well played, Eagles. Actually able to make it happen. Hold down the fort for the time being. Yeah, this is where life gets very difficult for Thunder Talks, I was talking about earlier. You know, the circle being on Geek's side, it's just going to make their life so much easier now. For Thundertalks even pushing far over towards the north, yeah, you can get behind that lip on the very northeast, but even then you have to deal with GS. So we'll see how Thundertalks plays for now. Either they push north or they expend a lot of utility here in the next 5 minutes.
Maybe not even that long to live, though. 5 minutes is a long time in PUBG Mobile. And it might even see us towards the end of the match here. GS on this northern side. Mounting up now, playing with 4 players alive. They are leaving 1 player still in Severny, trying to keep those building high ground positions under control, maybe an off angle. So they roll up towards Paragin's shack. One of the last players, I think the last player, in fact, for DX Xavier. He's going to try and fend them off, but posting a nade through will do the trick. You just need to land it on the mark. Doesn't quite connect. That one does, though. He's not the last player for DX Xavier. It's actually Levi's off across the road. You can see there on the minimap, but yeah, it's not going to be able to get that one back up. And GS move in to the shack position on the north.
I think if you're Wolves right now, yeah, they're doing it at this very moment. They're going to try and push over towards Mad Bulls as well as EA. This fight has been raging on for quite a while. Unfortunately for them, Mad Bulls are able to pick their player up, as are E Arena. But I would say that E Arena is now in one of the worst positions in the world. Sandwiched between both Mad Bulls and Wolves. Egos goes down, so despite his valiant defense down on the southeast side, he will not regroup with the rest of the team.
Going to find it difficult. Mormon finding it difficult to stay on his feet as well as the nades pour in from the high ground for Mad Bulls. Big pressure on the southwest side. And they march ever forward, seemingly inexorably, but there's teams that will try and stop him here. NC2, no substitution play for him. Unfortunate as they meet their demise. Wolves trying to move up on the lip of the bunker, but he's backed off from the off angle as the spray down is good. Mad Bulls making their way closer and closer. The last player from DX Xavier, Levi's not getting stuck into that one. Doesn't want to give the game away just yet. Let Thundertalk go for the crossing first and try and ladder up on the placements because GK have to hold.
I mean, it's a good time for Thundertalks to do it. I mean, wrapping all the way around the building, trying to get to a side that doesn't have many windows. Unfortunately for you, this building has all the windows. Nate goes through, Kevin goes down. There's Saf out as well. Ragnarok last left inside the building. The Vikings are looking to decimate against Ragnarok itself, but Nerzed's still in the fight.
Oh, he's able to stand up though. Ragnarok still with a little dying hope here for Geeke. Able to find a knock. Thundertalk suffering on this crossing, sitting. Needs to get rezzed here. The player on the back as well needs to try and stay alive, stay safe. And Ragnarok can't quite weather the storm. Unfortunately, the Thunder was just too strong. As AJ crawls across, he gets clipped. And it's Thundertalk down to 3.
I mean, a very, very difficult push for Thundertalks. I mean, that is not an easy crash to go for at all. I think they played it quite well. Good smokes. The wrap around the building and the vehicle as well is extremely confusing to play up against for Geeke. So I genuinely really did like the play there coming through. Ooh, a 3 MG3 with a sniper suppressor in there as well, which seems kind of cruel.
You know, put it on a DMR maybe, if you're lucky. But yeah, the MG3. Still a pretty big boon if you're able to pick it up. We know Maxman loves it. His favorite weapon, I think. Pretty sure. Haven't checked in a while. I have to double check that one. But either way, a huge amount of firepower and the level 3 refresh on the armor and the helmet, which is maybe even more important in that difficult position. It's just a question of getting there. With 5 teams remaining, DX Xavier likely going to be the next team to have to move with their solo player Levi's out and across the way, over the road. Everybody else just about in, or at least close to being in. You can see Thundertalk have access to that hillside on their left, on the south side of the circle. And they'll be able to rotate there, hopefully fairly successfully.
So 11 elim game, it's nothing to be scoffed at. Same with Mad Balls as well, slowly climbing up the rankings. Yeah, so knows that Levi's is here. Don't think. Oh god, Mad Balls knows is here as well. Yeah, that's rough. That's very rough. The ground being peppered with holes in between him. Just trying to make the mad dash. I don't think he's getting out of here. There's a lot of ammo being expended onto him though.
It's yeah, big commitment on the ammo front. You're right. From Esso, might need a resupply from the rest of GS. And Levi's, I mean, he's still got a gun. He's still dangerous. He's still got damage to put out, I'm sure. And the fact that he's across, that is big for him for survival. Mad Bulls can't push down towards this side because they're so entrenched against the team underneath them, against the Wolves hiding out in the shelter.
A little bit unfortunate for Thunder Talks right now. They had to use that high ground in the building to pick up a knock to try and push over towards. And as a 3, you sort of need to get an opening knock onto a 4-man squad. Wait, Levi's is still alive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he's safe from the south because of that fight on the bunker.
It's pretty amusing. Now, what is Thunder Talks' move then? I mean, they can try and wrap on Mad Bulls, but again, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult. GS knows the location of Thunder Talks right now, and it's hard to push down towards them. So yeah, King's going to try and scout out over towards Mad Bulls. And he's coming back. And he's going for it again. And he's coming back.
I mean, it's indecision, but it's so difficult to make the play. GS, they know that Levi's is here. Wolves going to take shots as well from the mouth of the bunker over towards GS on the approach. They give the Gauntlet up over towards Thunder Talk, who are all too happy to pick up these points as the knocks start to come through thick and fast. GS are suffering, caught in the crossfire. The fact that it's not unlikely that they go down before Levi's now for DX Xavier is crazy. And Thunder Talk aren't doing too well either. Goodness me, this is getting mad.
Jafar's on the edge of the blue right now. It does go down. Icon's able to get DS3 back up again. But overall, for Thunder Taurus, it's still not a terrible game. I think they'd rather end up in the top 4. Sighting getting picked up at the same time, so they should get themselves back up towards the 3. And a wraparound from King here over towards the Mad Bulls. Sort of has to wait for a team shot here, honestly. That's a long nade. That's a very long nade.
They're trading nades here, and now actually Mad Bulls are flowing around and over towards the Wolves, who have been doing so much damage to GS in the meantime. The Mad Bulls looking to keep this one under control. All things considered, this is their game, but Levi's moving up to the tree now. Spots a player, he gives the position away. Now the Mad Bulls are going to know he's here. They're going to know there's danger on the flank, and they are going to put some ordnance out his way. You can see the nades already cooking, and Flip gets taken down because of it. Pusher Low gets taken down as well. No way are the Mad Bulls crumbling under the face of Levi's. Thunder Talk may be able to take this one away.
Good
my
volley.
God, this is getting crazy now. I mean, it was crazy before, but what? My God, what a close down.
Over the top, towards the top side of the bunker there. There's a little bit of chip damage, but not quite enough. Wolves are now out, so the bunker is completely clean. Singh moves around the side where the blue is pushing. Tulika has to wrap around the eastern side of the bunker, but Levi's is there getting up towards the top 2 potentially if he could just take Tulika out. But Sighting is on the hunt.
And they will be able to find him now. The last player for the Mad Bulls is there, and Thunder Talk